Hey guys, and welcome back to another gold making video. In this one I'm going to be showing you the top 10 Transmog gold farms in retail. Now Transmogs are all about building a big catalogue of really good items to sell. Before we get into this video, if you'd like to learn how to make millions of gold in retail, I'd recommend checking out my complete gold making guide. It'll be the first link down below in the description box, and this is a guide that I constantly update, and if you own a copy you get all updates for free for a lifetime. However, let's get right into it. So the first farm is Silithus. Now Silithus is a good farm because you can get Tibu's blazing longsword, which goes for over 1 million gold, and you can also get the skull, flame, shield, and a few other really good items from here. It's got some good sets also, like green sets, transmogs. So it's got like your jade set, it goes for a lot of gold, the glorious, and there's a few other sets that are worth a decent amount of gold from this farm. Now all these farms are pretty much best done in a group, so a group of 5 people or a 2x4, meaning 2 groups of 4 people. So if you do these, I would recommend trying to find a group. It's really easy to find groups for transmog farms. You can just post it in looking for group under custom, or you can also join our community on the NA servers, which I'll have a link in the description box for that also. We do a lot of gold farming, and we're always looking for groups and other people to do the farms with, because you get more gold by doing the farms in a group instead of doing them solo. However, if you are just a solo player, you can do these farms solo. You will just make more gold if you do them in a group, obviously, because you'll get more kills per hour. But this farm's super simple. You just run around here, they hyper spawn extremely quickly, and you get a whole heap of kills per hour, and that is the best spot to farm for the classic transmog loot table. Moving on to the next farm is the Blackrock Bulwark / WOD epics. So at this spot you get the Blackrock Bulwark, which goes for anywhere from like 700 to 1 million gold on most servers. Now you're also going to get a whole heap of other transmog pieces from this farm. Obviously, just the big item is the Blackrock Bulwark. You get a few other epics, but where it is located is right here, so in Dalaran, and it's right up the top part of this zone right here. So up the very tip top right here at Blades Fury command. And basically what you'll do with this farm, it's very best if you do this with a full group of people and you have each person spread up or running up and down the location where all the mobs are spawning. So as you can see, they spawn all the way up the top here, all the way down the road, and all the way to the bottom of the road. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure you kill the mobs that are at the very end. So there's a few outside of the gate, and if you kill these, it will help the rest of them actually hyper spawn a bit quicker. So these ones right here, you want to make sure you kill all of these, and it will make the ones at the top even spawn even faster. So this is a great farm if you want to find a group. People call it the WOD epics farm. So if you put that in looking for a group under customs, you should be able to find some people to actually do this farm with you. A lot of people enjoy this farm, and obviously if you get the Blackrock's Bulwark, you'll be able to make a crazy amount of gold from this farm. It's a really good farm to do, and I highly recommend doing it until you have the Blackrock Bulwark and having one of them on the auction house. Moving on to the next farm, and this is going to be MOP Blues. So Mr. Pandaria Blues, and this is just a really good hyper spawn, and it drops a lot of the really expensive blues from MOP, which have a crazy amount of value. So as you can see, we're in this location right here, and there's basically a whole heap of mobs that hyper spawn here. Now this is obviously also done best in a group to get them to hyper spawn. You can do it solo, it's pretty chill to do solo, but obviously you will get more gold per hour if you do this in a full group. As you can see though, there's a whole heap of these stone mobs around here, and they all hyper spawn extremely quick. So when you have a full group of people here, the spawn rate on these is absolutely crazy. You're also going to be getting Motes of Harmony, which you can actually sell for some steady gold. As you can see, we just got a green that is worth 500k. Maybe a little bit of fake value, but there are some blues that are worth a crazy amount of gold like that actually sell consistently for a really good amount of gold. But like I was saying, you get steady gold of the Motes of Harmony, also from this farm. Moving on to the next farm, and this is Isles of Thunder. So this is another Mist of Pandaria farm, and as you can see where we're located, we're in the far left side of Pandaria, and you want to make it up to this island. Now to get here, if you're an alliance, you want to talk to this person right here, and they'll have a quest. And from that quest, it will get you to unlock the portal that's on the left side of the screen, like this portal right here. So you do the quest, it takes like 1 minute, and then you'll unlock the portal, which will take you to the location. And this right here, this spot right here is the one for the Horde. So if you're Horde, you come to the quest here, where I've put the X on that person, they'll have a quest. You do that quest, and it will lead you to the Isles of Thunder, and it will also unlock that teleport, so you can use that to get there even quicker the next time. Now you can see it takes you onto the Isles of Thunder, and you simply just want to run up to the spot. You can't fly, unfortunately, so you just got to run up to the farming location. As you can see right here, I'll just go up a long way. This is another really good farm to do. You're obviously going to be getting your Motes of Harmony for some steady gold, and the transmog pieces that you can get from here are worth a lot of gold. Now there's a few really valuable items, and also a lot of really valuable greens that actually drop from here, and they have a really good sell rate. So this is where the farm is located, and basically what you want to do is have a few of the people in the group running clockwise, and the other few of the people in the group running anti-clockwise, and basically you all want to be spamming a macro that is automatically going to cast your moonfire on the closest target. So as you can see, that is the macro I'm using right there. Very simple macro, and like I said, you want to make sure that you're just constantly running around clockwise or anti-clockwise, whichever role you have, and killing as many mobs as possible, and you will be able to make a lot of gold from this farm. Some of the greens, like I mentioned before, are worth like hundreds, thousands of gold, and they also have a really good sell rate. So if you're lucky enough to get a few of those from this farm, you can make a decent amount of gold from this. Like I mentioned before, this one works best in a group because you can get all these mobs to hyperspawn, and if everyone's spread out in the group, you can get a really good amount of kills per hour from this farm instead of doing it solo. Anyways, moving on to the next farm, and the next farm is the ZM farm. So the ZM farm is in Zereth Mortis, so it's a Shadowlands, and you're going to need a geared level 70 to make this the most efficient, and this is the item that you're after. This goes from anywhere from 500 to 2 million gold, and it's a sword, and it's called the Varruth's Guillotine. Now this thing is actually it's not common, but it's not hard to come across. If you farm this for an hour with a good group, you definitely will see 1 or 2 of these, maybe even 3. They're not that rare whatsoever. There's a few other cosmetic pieces that drop from the ZM farm, and also the greens. The green transmog pieces and the rings sell extremely well. I guess people level with the rings and the gear, and they also use it for transmog purposes. So they have a really good sell rate. The greens and like the rings and the necks actually sell. A lot of the other necks and rings from later in the game, back in the game with a lower item level, they don't sell that well, but these ones have a decent item level and they sell extremely well on the auction house. So what you want to do with this farm is obviously just kill the mobs and move from location to location, doing pulls at each spot. So moving on to the next farm, and this is the Glazer. Now this is a mace, and it goes for anywhere. It's got crazy prices. It can go from anywhere from like 1 million gold to like 5 million gold. This thing is extremely hard to get. It's extremely rare, but when you get one, they sell it really good on the auction house for a lot of gold. Now with this farm, you're mainly just going to be after the Glazer. That's the main big ticket item. Some of the other transmog items are decent, but they don't come anywhere near close to the Glazer. So pretty much getting the Glazer will make this farm. So what I'd recommend doing is having this on your farming like rotation, one of the farms you do, and just do it until you get the Glazer. Once you get the Glazer, throw it up in the auction house. Once it's sold, then you can start redoing this farm again. I wouldn't recommend doing this farm as your only farm, because you are like relying heavily on getting the Glazer to make the gold. Now moving on to the next farm, this is a cool farm that I actually love doing, and this is the Graves Transmog farm. Basically there's a whole heap of these Graves in Tyrannus, and what you can do is when you click on them, they'll actually summon a mob, and they respawn really quick, these Graves. So what I like to do is pretty much at each grave spot, I'd like to click on all the Graves, get the mobs up, kill them, move on to the next lot of Graves, and then rinse and repeat that process. And if you do it quick enough, well, if you just do it, they're going to respawn on the other end before you get back there, so you can pretty much go around in a circle and constantly have mobs to kill. It's a really good farm. You get like all the classic Transmog loot table. So what I'd recommend doing, as you can see, we're very close to ZM. You could run a ZM until you're locked out, come out here and keep on farming, wait till your ZM resets for your instance amounts, and then you can come back out here and just rinse and repeat that, and you can get some really good transmogs that sell for a lot of gold. And also this is just a cool fun farm to do, and as you can see, we just got the Jade, and we also got a blue that was worth about 15k gold. So moving on to the next transmog farm is the Barrens Hyperpsawn. So at the top of Barrens, at this location right here where the lake is, you're going to find all of these little gnomes, and they respawn extremely quick. Now with a full group of people spread out and doing this farm all together, you can get these guys to respawn extremely quick. And now a few of the items that drop from here are worth a lot of gold. Some of the items have like fake value, a bit of fake value that are like greens that are pretty common, that are worth like 1 million gold, ridiculous amounts. But you can get some other items that sell pretty good from this farm, and that are worth a lot of gold also. So moving on to the next farm, and this is going to be Mythic Island Expeditions. So this is basically a mini game, and with this mini game you get rewarded doubloons, and you can use them to buy crates, and with the crates you can get really rare transmog pieces. And also once you complete a island expedition, you also have a chance at get given some pets or some transmog pieces from this farm. So to actually do this, if you're in an alliance, you want to head over to here to Barrens, and you want to talk to this guy right here. Now you want to talk to him and not click on the table if you're doing it solo, because you can actually queue for a mythic solo if you click on the guy, and then you ask him if you could join it. If you click on the mission table, like on the table thing, you won't actually be able to do a mythic solo. You'll need 3 people, but if you talk to the guy, you can do it solo. And it's super simple now and easy to do actually, because we're level 70, we're just so much stronger than the mobs in here. I'm actually just burning through these mobs, and that is all you need to do. You can kill the mobs, and the main goal of this mini game is to get 12,000 Azurite. Now you get Azurite from doing everything in the mini game, so from killing mobs to looting chests to doing absolutely any objective inside island expeditions, you will get Azurite for. And it's a race to beat the other person, the other team, to 12,000 Azurite. Now the other team is just a computer team, so don't worry, they're not good whatsoever. It's just basically versing Blizzard bots, and they're super simple to beat. And once you finish it, as you can see, you get the blooms. You come over here and you can buy your crates. Now moving on to the final way to farm transmogs and the best farm. Now that would be by running dungeons. So a whole heap of dungeons have different loot tables with some really valuable and rare items. So for an example, what I like to do is run, say, 10 runs of every single dungeon and mix it up. So I don't like to do the same dungeon. Metatombs is extremely quick and easy to do if you want to run just an easy dungeon to get your lockouts done per day. However, what I'd recommend doing with running dungeons is running the same dungeon for a bit until you get the main item from that dungeon, and then moving on to the next dungeon. Now all dungeons have really good loot and their own loot table, so I would recommend just whatever you're feeling or whatever you haven't got good loot from yet, by doing them dungeons and then moving on to a different dungeon. You want to have a big catalog of different items, so the best thing to do is to do multiple different dungeons. That way you can get the items that specifically drop from those dungeons, and you can build out your auction house with more different transmog items than just doing the same dungeons and getting duplications of the same item you already have. Now, doing this, I'd recommend doing this on a druid because it's just a lot better to run dungeons. But anyways guys, that is it for the top 10 transmog gold farms. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up, and if you'd like to learn how to make millions of gold in retail, check out my complete gold making guide. It is a guide that I've made over the past few years, and it teaches you exactly how to make millions of gold in retail World of Warcraft, and the first link in the description box will be to that. Till the next one guys, take care.